Welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is Thursday, August 3rd, 2017. This is kind of the red letter day we've all been waiting for, you've been waiting for, we've been waiting for. And I wanted to have like a sign just to hold up and come in and say his name was Seth Rich. We have all known that the Russian hacking was Seth Rich, and now we kind of have
we got to leak the audio.
Got the bone. The dog has the bone.
Seymour Hersh, which literally he says he is the leaker. Now, before we get into the story, I want to give props to, this is a new source for hard-hitting investigative political journalism, big league politics. Her name, Cassandra Fairbanks. I think she was the first one to leak this, and so we always the audio. We always want to give credit to the great investigative journalists who are putting things out there, who are breaking these stories.
Well done, Miss Fairbanks.
And she and keep your eye on big league politics. Their followers should jump. They only have they're less than 5,500 followers on Twitter. I mean, seriously, this is like the biggest news. You can Google Seymour Hersh, but you're not going to find anything, not even a drip of it, on the mainstream media. You're only going to find it on the alternative media sites only. And so I'm going to take you all to the alternative media sites. And first off, one favorite alternative media site for fair and balanced news across the whole wide spectrum is Zero Hedge. Of course, you all know that I love InfoWars too. But they get a lot of their stuff. I mean, these guys are in the trenches writing the stories, and they're very fair and balanced, libertarian-minded, and the Fed. They're my peeps. All right, so Seth Rich investigator accusations debunked by own interviews as Seymour Hersh leak kills the Russian story. Now, that's their headline because I think if you're watching this, you have all seen the interview with Rod Wheeler.
Right.
The investigator who was supposedly hired by the family to investigate it. The brother later comes and says, only investigated the fact that it was a botched robbery. I don't want you to look at his computer. I don't want you to actually look at anything. And he came out and said, he's suing Fox, and he's saying that Fox News and the head there, Butowski.
Maybe he's Polish.
Used his words and tried to spin something. Now, his own audio, there's leaked audio for Rod Wheeler as well. His own audio contradicts his lawsuit claim, and Seymour Hersh is contradicting himself in the leaked audio that he had with Butowski. And so we have to go by what we see in the leak. And as Caitlin Johnson pointed out, Seymour Hersh, you're going to have to make this clear because you are either the world's biggest liar, or you're misrepresenting yourself, or somebody got to you after you said this. Mm-hmm. The lawsuit that Rod Wheeler, we're going to get to the Seymour Hersh audio in a second, but this lawsuit is very interesting. The timing of all of this, it's almost kind of like a chess game. Mm-hmm. We're going to link this audio because Rod Wheeler came out with this. So obviously there's people with a lot more information in this whole thing. Could you please just share it?
No, they're not going to. They're keeping it hidden on purpose.
Exactly. So the plaintiff, former D.C. police detective Rod Wheeler, also asserts that the Trump administration was directly involved with the story. Spicer did sit down and was briefed on the Rod Wheeler story and said the Trump had kind of been briefed on it too, but it's just briefed on a story. And so this is a bit weird. He says, my investigation up to this point shows there was some degree of email exchange between Seth Rich and WikiLeaks. He's ascertaining that Trump and the administration somehow colluded or it's convoluted is what it is. And obviously Rod Wheeler is an attention seeker, and I don't know how much of his story is to be trusted, but he's contradicting his own claims. And I'm going to kind of skip over this because I think most of us have seen it. If not, I will link to this article. He even sat down with George Webb talking about this, and where he says, I do believe there was some communication between Seth Rich and the WikiLeaks. Now,
which that doesn't really say much, in my opinion. There was some here. either Seth Rich was the leak or he was not. So to come to some sort of middle mushy ground is weak and cowardly.
Exactly. So let me play for you this clip where Alex Jones just kind of talks about who Seymour Hersh is, because I didn't really know who. He's a really famous Pulitzer Prize winning journalist.
Think about the magnitude of this information. Seymour Hersh, two-time Pulitzer Prize winner, the most famous living American journalist. He's the most famous journalist the last 100 years, totally documented, coming out in a new report saying he talked to high-level U.S. government officials, ambassadors, you name it. They were watching Seth Rich. They were trying to get into the DNC systems. The DNC hadn't let them in. They knew it was being penetrated. They were watching Seth Rich trying to sell the data to WikiLeaks. And you have WikiLeaks saying, right after he got shot in the back, that yes, he was their source. Now we have Hersh confirming all of it. We have the identity of the DNC leaker, and it's not a Russian, ladies and gentlemen.
So, I mean, it's cut and dry, seriously, and nobody is looking into this, and you're not going to see this. The fact that nobody's even reporting on it,
right?
The fact that it's just crickets, the fact that they're not even trying to debunk the debunker.
Because they can't.
Exactly. So their whole issue is silence. And this is media silence. The only,
which screams so loudly.
The only ones, The Intercept, I think, is talking about this. Gateway Pundit, Zero Hedge.
So when do we get to actually listen to this?
We're going to listen to a piece of the audio
because we were listening to it earlier.
Right.
But WikiLeaks got access, and before he was killed. About the kid, I'll tell you what I know. What I know comes off an FBI report. Don't ask me how you can figure out. I've been around long enough. The kid gets, I don't think he was murdered. I don't think he was murdered because of what he knew. The kid's a nice boy, 27. He was not an IT expert, but he learned stuff. He was a data programmer, but he learned stuff. And so he's living on one street somewhere. He's living in a very rough neighborhood. And in the exact area where he'd been, there's been about 10. I'm sure you know this. There's been about 8 or 9 or 10 violent robberies. Most of them with somebody brandishing a gun. And it's the kid's hands. I'm telling you, look, I'm sure you know it. His hands were marked up. The cops concluded he fought off the people, tried to run, and he shot him twice in the back with a .22 small caliber. And then the kids that did it ran. They got scared, didn't take his role. Okay, so look, the cops do this. And here's what nobody knows, what I'm telling you. Now, maybe you know something about it. When you have a death like that, DC cops, if you're dead, you generally don't just go, you have to find out what's going on. You have to get to the kid's apartment and see what you can find. If he's dead, you don't need a warrant, but most cops get a warrant because they don't know if the guy has a roommate. You need a warrant, so they get a warrant. I'm just telling you, there is such a thing. They go in the house and they can't do much with his computer, his password. The cops don't know much about it. So the DC cops, they have a cyber unit in DC, and they're more sophisticated. They come and look at it. The idea is maybe he's had a series of exchanges with somebody who says, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker, or a girl, and they can't get in. The cyber guys do a little better, but they can't make sense of it. So they call the FBI cyber unit. The DC unit, the Washington field office, is a hot shit unit. The guy running the Washington field office, he's like a 3-star at an army base. He's already looking for 4. You know what I mean? He's going to go with a top job. There's a cyber unit there that's excellent. Yeah. What you get in a warrant, the public information you get in a warrant doesn't include. It does not include the affidavit underlying why you're going in, what the reasons are. That's almost never available on. I can tell you that. The existence of a warrant is a public document 99% of the time. So, on the same warrant, they call in the feds. The feds get through, and here's what they find. This is according to the FBI report. What they find is, he makes, first of all, you have to know some basic facts. One of the basic facts is there's no DNC or Podesta email that exists beyond May 22nd, May 21st, 22nd, the last email from either one of those groups. And so what the report says is sometime in late spring, we're talking about June, summer's in June 21st. Late spring would be after, I presume, I don't know, I just say it says late spring, early summer. He makes contact with WikiLeaks. That's in his computer. And
that's your key right there at 3 minutes, 15 seconds. He makes contact with WikiLeaks.
I think we can go ahead and finish it.
Now, I have to be careful because I met Julian and Julian 10, 12 years. I stay the fuck away from people like that. And he's invited me, and when I'm in London, I always get a message, come see me at the Ecuadorian ambassador. Says, "Oh, fuck you, I'm going there." I got enough trouble without getting photographed. But every fucking day, he's under total surveillance by everybody. But anyway, they found what he had done. He had submitted a series of documents, of emails, some juicy emails from the DNC. And, by the way, all this shit about the DNC, whether hacked or wasn't hacked, but whatever happened, the Democrats themselves wrote this shit. You know what I mean? All I know is that he offered a sample, an extensive sample, I'm sure dozens of emails, and said, "I want money." That later, WikiLeaks did get the password. He had a Dropbox of protect. You can figure out.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the key there. He had a Dropbox, and WikiLeaks got the password.
I don't know how he dealt with the WikiLeaks, the mechanism, but he also, the word was passed according to the FBI report. I also shared this box with a couple of friends. So if anything happens to me, it's not going to solve your problem. Okay? I don't know what that means. I don't know what he was. Anyway, but WikiLeaks got access, and before he was killed, I can tell you right now, Brennan's an asshole. I've known all these people for years. Kramer's sort of a better guy, but not rocket scientist. The NSA guy's a fucking moron. And the trouble with all those guys is that the only way they're going to make it to a board or two and get hired by SAIC to deliver some fat cat contract is if they'll be staying in. With Trump, they're gone. They're done. They're going to live in their pension. They're not going to make it. And I got to tell you, guys in that job, they don't want to live on their pension. They want to be on board like they're make $600,000 for going to 4 businesses. I have somebody on the inside. I've been around a long time. I read a lot of stuff. I have somebody on the inside who will go and read a file for me. This person is unbelievably accurate and careful. He's a very high-level guy. He'll do a favor. You're just going to have to trust me. I have what they call it in my business, long-form journalism. I have a narrative of how that whole fucking thing began. It's a Brennan operation. It was an American disinformation. And the fucking president, at one point when they...
This is the other key part here, where he says, this was an American disinformation job. The Russian story. And he talks about the president. He says the president, he's talking about Obama.
The sitting
president. Telling the press, they were backbriefing the press. The head of the NSA was going and telling the press, fucking cocksucker Rogers, was telling the press that we even know who in the GRU, the Russian military intelligence service, he did. All bullshit. They were
even telling the president and telling the media that we even know who the Russian is who's leaking it. Right.
I worked at the New York Times for fucking years, and the trouble with the fucking New York Times is they have smart guys, but they're totally beholden on sources. If the president or the head of the CIA tells them something, they actually believe it. I was hired at the Times to write about it, to go after the war, in the Vietnam War in '72, because they were just locked in. So that's what the Times is. These guys run the fucking Times. And Trump's not wrong. I mean, I wish he would calm down and have a better press secretary. You have to be so...
So he goes on to say, I wish Trump wouldn't attack the media so much and stuff like that. But that is it. I mean, that's the deal. Now, where do we go from here? It's really tricky because if nobody's going to talk about it and it doesn't get out there, if you guys don't share it, if you guys don't talk about it, then it dies.
Right.
So you have to get this out there. You don't have to share my video. Please share my video. Share the Zero Hedge articles. Go to Big Lead Politics. Start following Cassandra on Twitter. I just did. Her name is Cassandra Fairbanks. And they're breaking some stories right now. And I think that we really need to get behind, whether you're on the right or left. All independent, honest, truth-seeking journalism. What they have now done is painted the Seth Rich story. Now, just a day or two ago, Seth Rich hoax or something was trending on Twitter. And everybody is trying to say that the Seth Rich murder was literally concocted by the Trump and the right wing in
Which
order
isn't
to,
true, because if you're watching us and you're a Bernie supporter, you know that actually you guys are the ones that really pushed this to the forefront.
Exactly. We all recognize Clinton and Podesta, and we recognize where the deep staters are coming from. Somebody else, we're gonna cover some John McCain stuff and recognize that for me, John McCain and Hillary Clinton are the same person, but they hop in between the different bodies, right? The same thing with Paul Ryan. These are not real, honest people. We saw the Russian sanction go through with 98-2, Bernie and Rand Paul in the Senate, and then Thomas Massie, only 3 representatives in the House. There's not one Democrat that voted against the sanctions. Bernie Sanders went back to being independent. So we have one independent and 4 so-called Republicans who actually are libertarians, but they only have an R because that was how they ran and won. Okay, go ahead.
We only have these sanctions against Russia because they were able to push forth this narrative that this specific leak done by Seth Rich was done by Russia. And so now we have our entire government, which I say is represented by the Senate and the House, our entire government voting on something that is 100% unequivocally false. Going after another nation with a nuclear powerhouse for 0 reason. This is not kids' games anymore, guys. These lies have gotten so serious that they are willing to threaten nuclear war with another nation on a lie because a young man found emails and wanted some money for them because he realized that if they got leaked, then it would take down the Clinton campaign.
And it would uncover Pizzagate. Listen, I know that we all joke about Comet Pizza and stuff like that, but if you have seen the videos that are taken from Comet Pizza, I don't care if they were involved. John Podesta is connected to Comet Pizza, okay? Comet Pizza has some really sick things going on. They took down a bunch of their images. It's all sexual. It's all crazy.
If you guys aren't familiar, there may be people that are not. It is a restaurant that we're talking about. Pizzagate got its name because of this restaurant.
Well, and then John Podesta mentions pizza, and pizza is a well-known pedophile word for using young children. Exactly. And so, while it could have been one of those false flag type things, recognizing that Podesta and his brother are super pervs, and like Google Podesta's brother, where his artwork, it's all like weird, like child pornography, where it's just bad. It's just all really cryptic and really weird. So we're gonna end this real quick, but I want to go over somebody in Reddit, a couple Reddit users did a timeline, so I just want to read over these to rehash what's going on here. Okay. So, for anyone who doesn't know, Hersh is a big deal, investigative reporter, old school, has typically excellent deep throat style sources, outsider, after revealing Osama death secrets. Now, Hersh says...
Meaning he was an outsider after he revealed the Osama death secrets.
Well, yeah.
Meaning nobody wants to touch him. He's like Mel Gibson in Hollywood.
He says that the way it went down, it didn't really happen. So I don't know. I don't know whether he's telling the truth or not there. Anyways, Hersh says Seth Rich killing is officially a mugging gone wrong, but Hersh confirms DC police and FBI did gain access to Rich's PC files. Hersh says Rich had DNC files, emails on his computer. Hersh confirms Seth Rich contacted WikiLeaks. He confirms Seth Rich contacted WikiLeaks. Said it twice. Confirmed. Hersh said Rich was asking for money, may have given teaser files. Hersh says, I think, that WikiLeaks subsequently gained access to Rich's Dropbox anyway, after his death or before. Hersh says Rich also gave files to trusted friends. Hersh says this is all in an FBI report. Here comes the big one. Hersh says the DNC made the Russia hack story up. They knew it was a leak, but says Russian narrative was an American disinformation operation. Says government was involved in constructing it. Mentioned some guy, Brennan, maybe mentions the president. He does mention the president. Trump's not wrong to think they're all effing lying about him. And their conclusion is the Russian narrative is beyond collapsing. It is in full blowback right now. Government officials and insiders have done very, very wrong things to an elect and sitting president on our dead to rights on seditious conspiracy. So here's the thing. There's so many lies being spun around. What if the FBI leak was lying to Hersh so the Hersh could get it out there and spread disinformation? I don't know.
Right.
But I gotta go with my gut. When I put the timeline together, okay, timelines you can't change. The fact that the Podesta emails only went up into the end of May. Seth Rich was killed in June. He had access to these type of emails. These emails weren't that exciting. Okay, they weren't enough for a Russian, I believe, to think that they're going to sway an election with.
Right.
But I believe in a DNC insider recognizing that the corruption in his party, frustrated with it. We all know that Seth Rich was obviously a patriot. He's always in the American flag gear. He loves America. He loves his country. And we know that Clinton is never, ever, ever, ever going to tell the truth ever on anything.
Right.
So these are, it's kind of like when you play cards. We play euchre, and you might not have like the trump card, but you have all in the right suit, and so you feel like you can go forward and you can win something, right?
Right.
So this is a winning hand. To me, this is a hand that you take everything down with. You've got all of the right suit in your hand. Nobody can beat you.
Right. My only disagreement on this, and I want to make this clear, is Hersh's conclusion is that it was a botched mugging.
Yeah, I
find that far too convenient.
I do too.
I can't imagine that the DNC got that lucky.
Exactly.
So, all right, you guys, we are going to sign off here for Resistance Chicks, where it is not just a conspiracy theory.
If it's the truth.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. We have 2 channels. Share this on your social media pages. Get this out there.
Got to get this.
Whether you don't share ours or share somebody else's, whatever. We don't care. They're not going to let us monetize this anyway, so we're not going to make any money. We never do anyway. But I'm just saying, it doesn't matter whether you share our video or somebody else's. The point is, get the truth out there. We love you guys. God loves you, and God bless.
And hashtag justice for Seth Rich.
Yes. Your fingers are dirty. Working outside, farmer.
I was cold all alone. No place for